It's a
Welcome,
monster movie.
welcome back to the O Brother Pod. Yeah, it's War of the Gargantuans here on TV 38. What was it? Creature Double Feature, which
Yes.
we talked about that in the
Yeah, a long
on the
time ago.
episode a long time ago. Yeah, we referenced that. So, anyways, welcome back to the O Brother Podcast. We are live, and man, do we have a topic tonight we want to talk about?
Well,
Now,
I've
you
mentioned
don't know
this.
this. I titled it Disney
The
and
d-
Creative Bankruptcy, folks.
oh, okay. You
That's what
changed
I've
the title because it was the death of Disney.
Well, that was just for the teaser, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
So,
and I hope Disney fans are tune in to see this and don't think we're haters because,
mm,
and we'll get into that.
okay, alrighty.
No, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So that's the topic. But but before we get into it, I wanted to mention, the power of marketing. I'm not one of these. You see a commercial and then I'm like, duped into buying, the
Yeah,
Flowbee or whatever. Doing my hair with a
I
vacuum or
still use
whatever.
the Flowbee. Can't
Do
you
you?
tell?
Well, I think
That's
that's
why.
pretty evident.
That's
I
why
think
I'm
that's
always.
pretty evident.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm always messing with my
you're
hair.
using the Flowbee. I'm saying I'm not one of these to watch a commercial and rush out to the store and get the latest whatever it is, but Flex Seal or all that nonsense.
Yeah, I used
But
to have that guy's voice down.
yeah, that's a
Flex
good.
Seal, you can ride a boat.
Are you
Flex
doing
Seal.
cream eggs?
I
It's
don't know. I
almost
think
Easter.
I
It's
lost
almost
it.
Easter.
I lost it.
Here's a trivia question. Do you remember that guy's name that did those commercials?
Oh man, he was in movies.
Yeah,
Cream eggs from
cream eggs by
from
Cadbury. Because when the Easter Bunny's gone,
They're gone.
And he did Hidden Valley Ranch was the big
He was in
the other
FX2.
commercial that he did.
You remember that movie with Brian Dennehy and the Australian guy? Forget
Yes.
FX and FX2.
Yeah. Anyways, Saturday night, this commercial comes on. It's an Apple commercial. Now, in full transparency, we're both Apple
Yeah.
files, right?
You
We're both,
more than me. I was
yeah,
a PC guy,
yeah,
and then you turned me on to Apple.
yeah. I think I've got you beat there. So I see this commercial. It's called something. You can see it on YouTube. It's like quiet the noise or something like
Yeah.
this. What you see is people. There's like a garbage truck, right, floating in the air. Then you see like a barking dog's kind of in the sky and
I haven't seen
all
it.
these other things, right? And you quickly realize, first of all, it's a commercial for AirPods, the
Mhm.
wireless, earphones that they sell for Apple.
And you jumped in the car? And
Well, and what it was they have a noise canceling feature, right? And so she has it turned on, so everything that's creating noise around her goes away, and they represent that by showing everything up in the sky. And then you can hold the stem of one of the AirPods and turn the noise canceling feature off. And when she did that, everything fell to the back to earth. And all of a sudden the sounds of the city kicked in and the streetcars
Can I
and
use this
taxis.
in the movies to block out all the popcorn crunchers and
Yeah, you absolutely
dog-
can.
Really?
Well, check it out. So
Uh,
the next day, my girlfriend and I were out for breakfast, and I said, "Hey, I want to stop by Best Buy after we're done." Okay. And so we walk, we go over to Best Buy. And I said, "I'm going to make this is probably going to be an impulse buy." And she go, "Okay." I said, "It's an expensive item." She's like, "Oh, okay." I walk in, I'm in there 5 minutes. I'm out of there with a brand new pair of second generation AirPod Pros. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have not had noise canceling headphones before. This was creepy. I literally put them in and I left my apartment yesterday. I couldn't hear the door close. I couldn't hear myself walking. I couldn't. It's
couldn't
a
hear
little,
your cat dying?
yeah, I couldn't hear someone coming up behind me getting ready to murder me. Like, but it's really incredible. And the technology is just phenomenal. And I told you, I said, they have this thing where, with spatial audio, and when you set up the AirPods, I know it sounds like an advertisement for Apple right now. It's not. I'm getting, there's a
I know.
point.
Where's the topic?
There's a point. But you scan your face and your ears so that anywhere you're looking, no matter where you're looking, the sound follows you.
Unlike this mic,
Yeah,
which doesn't follow me.
it's just phenomenal. And as I said to you, that is an innovation that perhaps the late great Steve Jobs might have
Yeah,
been
10
proud of.
years ago, he would have had that.
Well, sure. But, okay, because we've said the iPhone has just been an embarrassment year after year since like the
Yes.
iPhone 6, or
Yeah,
5.
mom has the 8, and
Mhm.
when you put it next to my 14, I
Yeah.
don't see a difference,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Well, so it just goes to show you, right? There's a company just through the power of marketing, they're getting it right and they know how to tune in to what the client or the customer needs or wants. So here's the story.
Okay.
Okay. Now there's a history here, but let's get to the most recent story.
Yes.
Okay. Which is yesterday,
Well,
right?
we can go back.
Let's go back to November. Let's
Okay.
go back to November. So November, you and I have been talking about a return trip for you down here to sunny Florida.
Yeah.
And so we finally work out the dates and you buy a plane ticket, you schedule the trip in November. I've got time off from work, the whole bit, the day gig, and we both get COVID like
Literally,
almost
you
at the same time.
right, you called me and
Yeah.
said, "You gotta cancel. I got
Right.
COVID," and I take a picture. I had just taken the test
Yeah.
and was positive.
Right. And
So,
so
that trip was over.
trip was canceled. And so we talked to Disney because I had bought a single day ticket. I'm an
Correct.
annual pass holder. Okay.
Yes.
Just to put that out there. And I'm an annual pass holder for Universal. That'll come into play later. And I bought a single day ticket for you so we could go hop around the parks. So they said, yeah, ticket's still good. That money will be there in the account when you're ready and you reschedule the dates. So fast forward, we finally figure out some new dates. This is around the week of my birthday, and you book a new flight, right? And you're coming down in early April. So I get on the phone with
And I
Disney.
randomly picked the date.
Yes, exactly.
I just
Exactly.
randomly said, "I'll go here," knowing you had an annual pass, so it wouldn't matter.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, and that used to be
That
the
used to be
case.
true.
That used to be the case. Now, okay, God forgive me. I didn't check on this beforehand, but after an hour on the phone with Disney, what we find out is the date that we had settled on to
Mhm.
go to the parks, I'm blocked out.
Yeah.
Not only am I blocked out that date, I can't go for the first couple of weeks in April. Now,
And I can.
right, I'm a Florida resident. I've been an annual pass holder for over 20 years,
Yep.
like 30 years,
Yep.
and I can't go, "You're a single day ticket holder and you can, roam the
Right this
planet
way, sir.
free."
Enjoy the genie service, but it'll cost you
Right.
30 bucks.
Now, I don't know why we do this because we know better. But I'm on with like the fifth person in this
Right.
whole,
Right.
journey that I'm on. And I know it's futile that
Right.
I even have the discussions, right?
Right.
But I'm doing it anyways.
So
And
what do you
so
say?
so
I would have loved to be on that.
well, it was, I always preface it by saying, look, I know this isn't your issue. Marguerite or
I I d
Esmeralda, that's a
I
real name.
I do that
Esmeralda.
after I take their head off. Then I say, "I know it wasn't you."
Now, see, I don't even do that anymore. I said, look, I know this isn't your problem, but yet I still go into the diatribe about. I said, who is that guy that I have to talk to? Who has the authority to make this
Correct.
decision? Because I was basically saying exactly what we just said, which is, okay, my brother he's got a single day ticket, he can go, but you're telling me as a pass holder I can't go. Well, the blackout days, okay, I understand
For
that.
you to go, you
There's
would have to buy a
policies and
ticket.
yes. So and those were the options they presented me. Well, you can buy a single day ticket. I
What
said,
are you, shit me?
why would I spend any more money than the hundreds of dollars I've spent on an annual
Right.
pass that I can't even use
Right.
when I want to use it?
I
Right.
mean,
And to
there
your
used to
point, I used to be able to walk in there any day of the week,
365.
365, and it didn't matter. And then COVID, screwed all that up for
And if
us.
anything went wrong,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you were with me, because at least twice I went to customer service to complain about something.
Right.
Maybe it was a bad meal or, you know, Goofy grabbed my testicles, something like that.
Well, that was
S
that one time.
That was on the news, but
That was that one
anyway,
time.
I would go to customer service and I'd say, "I waited like 2 hours and it breaks down, and I wasted 2 hours."
Right.
They hand me 2 free tickets.
Hmm.
That was, like, common.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even hesitate. "Here, sir, we're
No,
really sorry."
it appears to be now, once they get your money, they're done with you.
Yes.
They're done with you. And
That's
and
the
and then we
JPEG
know
era.
and
JPEG.
for folks that don't realize this, we the jig is up. We both know, and I even said this to the woman. I said to her, and she's probably like, "Okay, what time do I clock out? Like, can I just get off of this customer service call?" I said, "Disney's making money off the single day tickets. They're not making money off the pass holders
Correct.
anymore." And
Correct.
so that's
And
and
if
that's
you
also why if I cancel my pass
right,
or don't renew my pass, I
exactly.
can't buy a new pass. Why? Because 'Cause they're not making any money
They
off of it.
won't sell them
They
anymore.
won't sell them.
And I don't know if it's going on in Anaheim yet,
Mhm.
but Disney World is a frickin' mess.
Yeah, now
And that's not all.
she says, "Well, my support team I'm in communication with," right? I'm getting all of this horse shit.
Yeah, right.
The support team that I'm in communication with, tells me this, that, and the other. I said, "Okay."
Yeah,
I
same
say,
thing she just
so
said.
then I do the old, you'll love this. Mike, this goes back like circa 1987, which is the, okay, well then who do they report to? Right? It's the
Right,
classic,
that's me, that's
your
me.
support team reports to somebody else. Is that right? I said, do I need to get in contact with Mr. Iger? Is that what needs to happen
Right,
here? I said,
right.
because if I was his nephew or something, I'm sure that you guys would figure out a way to
Correct.
handle this situation or make
He'd
some
go
sort of
in the
exception.
side gate.
Right, exactly. And I said to her, I we both know it can be done. It's
Right.
just finding someone willing to make it happen.
And
That's all.
while you were on the phone,
Yeah.
I was in a chat with
Well, and
Disney.
and you and I are also at each other's throats at the
Right,
same
because 'cause
time.
we're so
That's
mad.
another story that's going on.
Right, we're so mad,
Right.
we start fighting with each other
Yeah.
as and while you're making me more pissed off, I am writing shit to her saying, "Disney is a shit show." This is
Right.
what I'm typing in the chat. I said, "You are creatively bankrupt. You are the
Yes.
worst theme park in Orlando. I
Yes.
can't wait to visit Universal Studios. You suck." I'm right now. Just no one was respond. I
Well,
was getting no response in the chat, so I just kept going.
this becomes, this is where it led to. I get to like the sixth person in this whole
Right.
saga, and this guy was pleasant enough, and I no issues with him. I'm, you didn't get this treatment, but everybody I talked to, have a magical day. I got that at the end of the
I didn't
call.
get that at the
I
end of
got it.
mine.
I actually got that every single time. But I'm talking to him, and same thing. Now it's three different times they say, "Oh, well, you need to talk. You can call pass holder services." I'm like, "That's the number I call." And I mean, you're in this loop, and they're passing you around.
Man.
So he says to me, "Well, I can give you an email address." I said, "Is it Disney.guestservices@disneyworld.com?" I said, "Yeah, I already have that."
Yeah,
I said, "What's the point of me sending that email?" I said, "You and I both know nobody gives a shit.
right.
Nobody's going to do anything about it." He goes, "Well," and he was being genuine because I think he felt bad, but he said, "Well, it doesn't hurt to be heard." And I
Mm,
said, "Look," I said, "I'll probably send the email, but with zero expectation anything's going to come of it."
yeah.
Now, this is the email that I sent. To whom it may concern.
I would have said to
Yeah,
Bob
dear
Iger.
asswipe. Yeah,
Dear Iger.
yeah, dear Bobby. But then they have to specify as a Chapek or Iger. But to whom it may concern, I've been coming to the Disney park since the 80s and a pass holder from the early 90s. Most recently, I renewed my annual pass in November, and that's going to come into play here as well. I purchased a single day park hopper ticket for my older brother for a trip he planned late November. We became ill and had to cancel the trip. He rescheduled to fly down to celebrate my birthday in April, rebooked his flight, and wanted to visit the parks on the 4th. Much to our dismay, he was eligible to visit, but as an annual pass holder, I could not. And then I talk about how, we really had planned and needed to go together. You weren't going to go to the parks by yourself. And
And
I was
Paul
told there was nothing that could be done. My brother and I opted to visit Universal instead, as I am a Universal pass holder as well and eligible to go any date.
nice.
Ultimately, after suffering an incredible amount of frustration, I called the pass holder line to request to cancel my pass. I quickly learned I could not transfer nor cancel my pass.
What?
The gentleman I spoke to offered me this email address, which I was already provided previously. He said it's worth being heard, though I told him I would send the email with no expectation of receiving a reasonable solution to my concerns. So I am emailing you today to seek any resolution possible. At this point, it seems my only option is to simply let my pass expire and not renew if this is the treatment I can expect in the future as a longtime resident and pass holder. So, not only all of that, right? But
Why couldn't
I can't cancel my pass.
That's insane.
It's non-transferable. You can't cancel it. Now, Universal, you can. And I've done
Wow.
that in the past. You can cancel and they will prorate the amount that's
Now,
remaining.
you know, Paul, we always pull the who's your like I'm brutal. Danny will attest to this.
Oh, he's throwing out the Danny vibes. All right.
Yeah, because I am brutal when it comes to dealing with people. And I piss through the first few people. I'm like, let me talk to your manager.
Can you do them a favor and tell the quick car salesman story?
I was getting to that. Right. But I instantly, as soon as they say no, I said, who do you work for? Where's your boss? She comes, who do you work for?
I get to the number 2 work
I keep going. And if I get to the top person in the store and they still deny me, I'm like, give me your district manager's name. And I start writing it. All of a sudden, well, maybe we can work something out because they know that's death.
Yes.
And I know being in retail, if the DM got a bad response about me, I was in his office for 2 hours getting screamed at.
Sure.
But that letter was so nice compared to what I was writing in the chat.
Absolutely. No expletives, no nothing.
Right. And Dan takes us back to Dan was buying a car.
That's right.
And I bought many cars, because of the age difference.
This was a new purchase for me,
It was a brand new car. Mm-hmm. And we had this sales guy. And he, in Florida, I don't know if they do this everywhere. They have these sucker stickers. You know how you used to look at the sticker price?
Yeah. This is way before CarMax and all these other places.
This is a while ago. But next to it is an extra sticker with add-ons. Freight charge $1,500. What? No. You're not charging me for freight. And so I start off by saying, we're going to start with the sticker price and go down from there. Tear that piece of shit off now.
It's like Fargo. You need that true coat. That true coat.
I'm going at this guy and he won't lower the price. And I'm like, lower the price. We're walking. We get up. I go at him. The guy says, what did he say? I don't even remember.
I got a family to feed.
And this was my response when this guy says, I've got a family to feed. I said, you know what? You picked this job.
You said this is the career you chose.
This is the career you chose. That's what I said to him. And I was
no comeback for that.
He started crying.
Yeah.
The guy was crying.
Didn't I buy the car for 20 for
you
12
bought
hours?
The car. No, and we were driving around and all of a sudden
it was a Hyundai. It was a Hyundai, I remember.
And all of a sudden you decided, no, this isn't it.
I made a huge mistake.
Right. And you already signed the contract and everything. Well, this was before I went to law school and I knew you can cancel a contract. Now it's like 8:45 and we're on the other side of town.
All right.
And we got to make it to this car dealership to cancel the contract.
And Mike, another genius plan.
So I'm like, Ann, my ex-wife, call real quick. Tell them that you want to come and look at a car. So she gets on the phone. She says, yeah, I'm interested in the Hyundai that
keeps him on the line.
Keeps him going. And I'm doing this, to her. I'm like, stretch. And you were driving, you pulled in doing like,
as fast as that car could go.
And I took the keys out of the ignition and I chucked them at them. I said, no deal, folks. Deal's off.
Oh, my God.
That's the all-time classic.
That is a classic.
Customer service. But I want to bring up Oh Father before we get more Disney in, because our dad was so insane. Yes. And I mean this in a loving way.
He would have appreciated that letter, but but he would have said, you went too soft on him, kid.
Exactly. He would have said, you only made him cry.
You notice I'm actually wearing in honor of
the USMC
Marine Corps sweatshirt.
There's nothing Dad was more proud of,
including us. But the United States Marine Corps.
In fact, if Dad was in when I made guy cry, he would have patted me on the back and said, "That a boy, good.
Exact
That's how
that's
you
right.
do it, kid.
That's right.
That's how you do it, kid."
You learn from the best, kid.
So, anyways, he was insane. He
Yes.
was literally legally, I think I could have had him clipped
Yeah.
because he used to write letters like once a week.
Mhm.
And there was this one show, and people don't know what candlepin bowling is
Oh,
unless you
right.
live here.
Yeah, yeah.
Candlepin bowling, you have these little
In
balls.
the Northeast, I would say.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you get 3 shots,
right,
and it's much tougher. I mean, if you have an average over 100
right.
or like I used to be like a 105, and I was a pretty high bowler. And, so dad writes a letter. He didn't like the guy
The
announcing
announcer.
the show. He said,
Right.
"I hate this voice," and he would turn off the volume and
And
still
still
watch the
watch the show.
bowling.
Yeah.
So
That'll
he
show 'em.
yeah, he did this with numerous things. He wrote, I don't know how many letters in his life to and he'd wrap it up, stamp it, "Mary, Mary, mail us, put this in the mail right now." And what he didn't know is mom would take the letter
And
into the deep six it would go. It never
now
made it.
that show went, and you're gonna love this because
Oh,
I pulled it
man.
out of the archives already, thanks to Google. The show went on for nearly 38 years from 1958 to 1996, and that host's name
Yeah.
was Don Gillis.
Oh my god.
Is
I
that a blast from the
remember
past
that.
or what? Yeah, Don Gillis.
That is a blast. Bring your mic back.
Yeah, it's back.
No, I mean back to towards you.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah,
Okay,
wasn't
you're
as
losing
loud.
me. Yeah. So this is that's just yesterday's
Right.
adventure with Disney.
Now
So now the end of that is that I'm screwed, right? I've got this pass now, and I wanted to cancel it because my girlfriend even said, "How is it even worth? Like, how many times have you been there this year?" I'm like, "You're right. I've been there like twice,
yeah. And you
which
don't
is insane."
stay. I always
I don't
stay for
stay,
the night
which was
shows.
another advantage of the pass. You could come and go as you
Right.
pleased, and that made it worth it, right? Not have to fight the crowds if you didn't want to. But
Back in the
now I'm stuck. So
right.
now I have to just wait until November, let it expire, and not
Be
renew
done
it.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I was a pass holder since '86.
Mhm.
And I used to work a retail gig, which was like hell.
Brutal, yeah.
But every day off, I would go out to the parks every day off. Like twice a week, I would be out there.
Mhm.
And I'd go for like 2 hours, check out a couple of things, and then go home. And I thought, hey, it was
Yeah.
a long drive, but it was worth it.
Right.
Now they don't have enough employees, which is part of this crowd control thing they're doing
Well,
with
it's
the
interesting.
passes.
It's interesting you mentioned that because the headline today in the news here was Disney layoffs. First wave.
7,000.
No, well, first wave,
Okay.
which is going to be 4,000 employees, likely to all be let go next month, is what the
Did they say
speculation is.
from the parks? The parks is the only thing making them money.
Ironically, no. It says from the entertainment division primarily, which is interesting because we've argued about the Disney Plus, they're just whoring themselves out. Well, at
Yeah.
least Chapek was on the streaming. Like that's what started the whole thing, right?
Yeah, Chapek, this mess that Chapek, and how long was he CEO? 2 years?
Couple of years, yeah.
And I
Well,
remember when he got his extension.
he was just a figurehead. He wasn't really
Right.
CEO.
And I remember the D23. So you also get this great magazine, $150.
That is sealed.
Yeah, that I haven't even read yet.
Right.
And it's been here for like 3 months. But Chapek did so much damage to those parks
Right.
that it'll be years before it's corrected. Bob Iger isn't going to be able to fix it.
No,
He's only focused on Disney Plus.
right. But again, it's that was the one part of this article I read today. Just can't hit the headlines today. Is this Christine McCarthy who you had quoted before?
Mhm.
She was
About
talking
the
about all the
food.
and all the it won't hurt these overweight customers we have to
No, our customers will appreciate less calories.
correct.
Calling us fat.
Right. Let's get a look at at her. But Paul brings up a good point. What about all the deferred maintenance at these parks? This makes me think of the pantyhose in the rock pile.
Oh man, we
Whatever. The
Dan and I,
goldfish in the rock pile or
yeah,
whatever you want
Dan
to
and
call it
I are walking up to Spaceship Earth, which is the big
at
the
Epcot.
everybody
Yeah, it's
calls
the
it the Epcot
centerpiece of
Ball.
Epcot Center,
Right.
right.
We're walking up, and all of a sudden,
Kevgret in the house.
yeah, all of a sudden we get stuck at this one spot,
Mhm.
and we look over, and down below there was a nylon stocking and one goldfish cracker just sitting there. I mean, you would have never ever seen that under Eisner's watch. Somebody would have
No.
got fired for that. Like the
Yes.
supervisor of that ride would have been fired.
Or his watch.
And I know about getting fired at Disney.
Or his watch. Yes, you do, for sleeping under a tree.
Yeah, but I wasn't working for Disney at the time. Now I
Well
brought some receipts. Can
Okay.
I do this now?
Yeah, bring up the receipts.
Okay.
Now, before you get into the receipts,
Okay.
because Kevgret says they drained profits from the parks to make up the loss from Disney
He's
Plus and
absolutely
ESPN.
right.
Well, there's no losses happening at Disney. Let's be clear
No.
about that. They reported earnings in, I think, almost $24 billion, which exceeded what the projections
Expectation.
were.
Right.
And if you read this article that came out today, one of the things that they commented on was this some backlash that had happened during the Super Bowl when Disney, if those of you that watched the Super Bowl and watched the commercials, remember seeing 100-year celebration commercial that cost them over $7 million
That's
for the Super Bowl.
insane.
How many jobs could be saved of the 4,000 they're about to terminate for one Super Bowl spot?
And I
right?
told you about the Oscars. They ran a
obnoxious.
commercial for Little Mermaid at the Oscars. How did he pull that off? How much did that cost?
Right. Yeah,
Here we
Kevgret
go.
says every new ride breaks down every hour. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, lucky to get 4 showings before breakdown.
Yep. Okay.
For a minute. So Disney, you're talking about the live action. Yeah,
Okay.
nobody needs it.
That's
et cetera.
one. Okay.
Right.
Classic film. Jungle Book, right?
Yeah.
Great songs, great music.
Bring on the Rock. Oh, Jungle Book, right. So I'm thinking Jungle Cruise. Yeah.
Live action Jungle Book with Maui. I really want to see him live.
Yes.
Classic, right?
Lion King. Yeah.
Lion King. Look, it's not even open.
Yeah.
Right? I have like every Disney film.
I wouldn't know because I'm into digital media, but
not classic.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
We already see it. We already
yeah.
seen it. We seen it.
Yeah.
We loved it. We hate this one.
Yeah.
Classic. Angela Lansbury singing.
Yes.
To them dancing. Classic.
Yes.
Not classic. And I love Emma Watson.
Yes.
But she had to be auto-tuned so much you couldn't even make out the songs.
Right.
Okay? Classic. Right? I'm not even pulling out the
you get into it. Is this Cruella then coming? I love how you own them all though. This is the funny
I know.
thing.
I
You own them
know.
all.
And you know what? The latest one that came up, and I have the VHS too. The latest one that came out, didn't buy it. Strange World, f you. I'm not buying it.
now you're getting
live.
into this is fighting words right here.
Okay, Mulan, right? Great animated.
Yeah, of course. Classic.
Okay, I love Michelle Yeoh. Not classic.
Okay, first of all, it's racist because what's Michelle Yeoh got to do with it?
She just wasn't good in it.
She wasn't in it. She wasn't in it.
She was.
Jesus.
I thought she was. I'm sorry.
That's a classic. That's what you call an Oh Brother blooper, folks.
Yeah.
Is what you call that.
Okay.
Well, Mulan, we have a difference of opinion. Mulan is our highest viewed YouTube video of all time, almost at 13,000 views. If you haven't seen that conversation between the brothers, that's one you might want to check out.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
That and Emancipation. Okay.
So, okay.
Classic.
Right.
Classic. Stupid.
Okay. I'm going to run out of internet
We're
coverage
on it.
here.
Wait a second.
How many more you got?
I'm going to show you what's coming to a theater near you soon.
Yeah, Kevgret wants you to unseal the movies on the stream.
Okay. Little Mermaid, right?
Yes.
Coming next month.
There's a lot of controversy here.
Rexer, oh man, he should have been here for the rant.
Yeah.
Okay. Snow White.
Yes.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Live action version. We don't need it. Peter Pan. It's called Peter and Wendy.
Yes.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yes.
Here's one of my favorites.
Gee, I love that you're swimming in all this shit. That's what I love.
Here's one of my favorites,
Yeah,
right?
Aladdin, right.
Classic. Robin
Yes.
Williams is the genie. Great voice, great singing.
Right.
Will Smith is the genie?
Well,
we
is
don't need it.
yeah, but the scene where he slaps the shit out of Jafar, that was pretty good.
Well, okay.
Let's be honest. That was
And
good
how
stuff.
long before they announce live action Frozen? I'm sorry, those F-bombs. We're gonna get a
So are you trying to tell us then? Are we to believe that after all of these new live action come out on
I'm
4K?
not buying them.
I
Not
don't
buying
know.
them.
Let's get a poll going,
I'm
folks. How,
done.
how many
I'm
folks
done.
believe what Mike is selling right now? I don't buy it. So not the Dewey Decimal System. You're not. No, Mike's retired that for his.
Yeah.
That went out with Betamax, I think. Is
Yeah,
what
I
happened. You know, it's a recycling program with
Yeah.
Disney, and it's like
Kev
I told you.
Oh, wait, I got to stop you because
Yeah.
Kevgret knows
The
this.
HD DVD.
I
yeah.
have a DVD because I thought that was going to be better.
You
than
were the only
Blu-ray.
adopter that stuck with it. Yeah.
Kev did too. Kev's
Yeah.
got some. Kev,
Yeah.
I should send mine to you, honestly, because I don't even. Have
I
a
told
player
you this
anymore.
this
Well,
when
I
I
do.
went
I
out
have a
when I went out
360.
to Universal recently,
Yeah,
and you know I was getting ready to leave for the day, and was in the old Universal section. You know, the original
yeah, that we
Universal
used to
park,
go to.
not Islands of Adventure and all that stuff now, but and where Terminator 3D, right? Was it Terminator
Yeah, it was
3D?
Terminator 2.
You're right.
Terminator 2.5.
In
It was
3D.
2.5.
Yeah, and it was an awesome show. And as I'm walking by, I recognized that location of where that show was,
Yeah.
and it says the Bourne Stunt-tacular. So I went and this was one of the best shows I've seen in years. And it, you know, they being in the theater, some of it was familiar, but there was so much of it that was new. And I'm thinking, like, this is what Disney doesn't know how to do. Like
Right.
reskinning. Think about what is coming with Splash Mountain.
It's going to be Tiana, Princess and the Frog.
Correct.
And who has seen that other than your kids?
Right. And it's a fluid ride at the end of the day. Like, how much different is that experience going to be? Yes.
We went out the opening of Kong.
You talking about the
original
ride?
Kong? Yes.
Confrontation.
Confrontation.
Right.
We waited. This is the longest wait we ever waited for
Yeah.
a ride.
Right.
And I remember we were like going through the New York set that they had, and we kept hearing people getting off the ride clapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, geez, they just waited over 2 hours
Right.
and they're clapping. So we go on it. It was great. I mean, fantastic. It was their most popular ride. When the new Kong came out, what's it called? Like King Kong and Samuel Jackson Lives.
Oh, the Skull Island or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Skull Island.
Skull Island.
Kong, Skull Island.
Yes.
So they rip out that great ride and they put in a new one, which I haven't seen yet. Maybe we'll catch it.
Yeah,
in a
when you're
couple of
here.
weeks.
Right. Right.
But that's what you do. You stay ahead of the curve. Don't
Mhm.
keep like Disney. I can name every ride in Epcot. You know, Living Seas, the land, the Universe of Energy is now gone. The only new ride in Epcot in 25 years,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, which is what, 3-hour wait?
At least, yeah.
No longer World of Motion, but Test Track, stale, old, done. There used to be a ride called Horizon.
Yep, that was great.
It's an empty building.
Yeah.
Now, Universal stays ahead of the curve. They bring it out when you still like the other one.
And they've got the Epic Universe under construction right now. And I don't know what Disney's going to do when that thing comes online in early 2025, I think is what they're projecting.
All of a sudden, season tickets are going to be back and you're going to see some it depends on who takes over. We don't know yet. And if it's Josh tomorrow, I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got that vision.
Well, and another example is just a god-awful Galactic Star Cruiser.
Oh my God, is that a mess?
Which again, another headline is, and you said this recently, it's down to sort of like, they're paying you to come and stay at this thing now.
The only ones that are going on it
It's
are travel agents.
You can literally book a stay for tomorrow
Exactly. And
if
it's
you want.
10 grand a night.
And clearly what's happening is they are just slowly phasing it out, and then they're going
It's
to
going to be
demolish
gone.
that piece of shit, and it's
Yep.
going to be gone. And then hopefully they'll put all that shit back into Galaxy's Edge where it should have been in the first place, because
Right.
you'll be hard pressed to find any
character.
character walking
Right.
through there.
When it first opened, you were kind of into it because they had like stormtroopers that would come up and talk to you.
Yeah.
Like you're part of the resistance.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Well, hey, listen, a couple things. So first, backing up a second, Rexer says, I still don't understand live action. How is it different from their older movies?
Well, the older movies are animated. They're hand drawn. Pixar's different. It's done with computers, but a
Right.
Disney classic movie is hand drawn. Live action means they're real actors. Like Beauty and the Beast, was hand drawn.
Yeah.
The new Beauty and the Beast is live people doing the same show, the same movie.
Yeah.
Shot by shot. Why?
And Paul, why should they do better? You're right. I mean, they're making a profit. So there's really not a lot of incentive. And Iger's argument here, the statement from on high about these 4,000 people that are about to lose their jobs next month while he gets fatter and fatter, and his wallet continues to grow, is he's looking to save the company still another $5+ billion.
Right.
Save them from what?
For the bonuses for the execs. That's why Michael Eisner.
The golden parachutes. The golden parachutes.
Chapek flew out of there with millions. Trust me.
Right.
I couldn't believe when I watched CNN and they said Disney has made Bob Chapek. They've offered him a 3-year extension. I almost lost my mind. And I instantly called you like, Chapek? What? We thought he was. I held up the D23 stuff. Eisner always came on stage and would announce coming attractions. We're going to build a new thing here. We're going to build a movie, MGM Studios. We're going to build that. Chapek would not come out on D23 because he was afraid he would get booed.
Yeah.
And that was in all the papers.
Yeah, because he's been booed multiple times before.
Yeah, he's used to it.
We see that.
And the
I
board
think he was booed at the opening of Galaxy's Edge. As a matter
the board of directors gives him a 3-year extension.
Yeah, it's funny.
After that.
I had mentioned Universal. I was out at Universal another time recently and had engaged with some people from their training division. And, they gave this whole presentation to my team about the Universal way. Right. And it was all the things that you would expect, which is, they understand how there's people that are going there that have saved up for years for this once in a lifetime, one vacation, and they want to make it memorable, and they have a part to play in that, no matter what role you have at the parks.
Yeah, you can go to Europe now cheaper than you go to Disney.
Yeah. And now they could give a shit less. And I don't blame the employees, at least not the hourly employees that we engage with when we're at the park.
Right.
That are doing all the jobs that most people don't want to do.
Step to the left, step to the left, step to the left.
You should see them there. They're all, I mean, you can tell they don't want to be there.
Right.
I've caught numerous employees there having side chats complaining about this, that, or the other with work. Because
they're
not
Paul?
being motivated.
You know what, Paul? The reason they should do better is because of loyal people like us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they should do better. They should reward us every year. I lived in Florida for 9 years. Every year I bought a season ticket. It cost me $150.86, and they were just about to add the movie studio. So that was in 89. It was a few years.
Yeah. And I love this, imagine spending all that money. Like we said, you're saving up for years and years.
Yes.
Once in a lifetime experience. And there's no guarantee you're going to be able to ride the best rides.
Right. And Kev Gret brings up a good point about the $25 to ride. If you don't pay the Genie Pass, if you don't buy a Genie Pass, which lets you cut the line sort of, you have to wait in 2-3 hours.
Right.
How many rides are you going to get in one day? Because they keep cutting the hours. When I worked there, Epcot was open till midnight every night
Mm-hmm.
during the summer.
Yeah.
Now they're open past 9 twice.
I mean, what does it say that, again, I'm a pass holder. I live 10 minutes from the parks
Yeah.
and I've been maybe twice this year.
Yeah. Every time we'd go out, what would we do? We would buy shit.
Yes.
We would spend money. We would always have to buy a drink. You're in Florida. They don't let you
Mhm.
bring in drinks, or you can't bring in a cooler.
Right.
So you have to eat there if you're going to spend the whole day. The kids are going. The one thing about Disney, like, you stay there if you're at night for the fireworks.
Yeah.
Look around the street. Forget the fireworks. Watch the crowd. All the kids are asleep in their strollers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are crying. Couples are bitching at each other because
Yeah.
they've spent a whole day in the sun, sweating their ass off, trying to run from ride to make it. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
I apologize for all my profanity tonight, but I was riled up.
No,
on
these guys
this.
are used to it from the Rexer show. But it's yeah, that's why they get away with it. You're absolutely right, because people still
Yeah,
show up.
the
Still
popcorn
show up.
buckets.
They
That's
don't
the
they
latest
don't
thing.
they don't give a shit about us.
No.
I mean, it's nothing to
They
them.
already got our money.
Yes. And like I just said, I can't do anything with this pass now. I'm stuck. And
And
so it is what
my
it is.
1-day ticket, okay, my 1-day ticket, how much did that cost?
It was over $200.
$220
Right. And
for 1 day.
right. And the reservation process, right? You got to reserve a park to go
Right.
to, and then you got to stay in that park until 2 p.m. before you can jump to any other parks. I'm paying hundreds of fucking dollars for this pass as a Florida resident. I should be able to go whenever I want.
Now, Dan never swears, so it's like,
It's just so infuriating, and
Get
I
your
don't
mic
know. Like
back.
Kev Gret mentioned,
bring your
Kev
mic
Gret-
back.
Oh, into my mind.
Yeah.
Kev Gret mentioned, Iger being the bridge to the next great leader. I've not seen no signs of where that person might
And
be.
this is the thing about Iger. And Kev Gret
Yeah.
obviously knows about Disney because he knows who these people are.
Mhm.
And I worked for Eisner, and the reason they fired him is because he cut a deal for stocks. He would get paid in stock.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a salary, he would take, whatever percentage of stock, and he made 88 million 1 year. Well, he earned it.
Right.
They fired him for making 80 million because it made all the papers.
Mhm.
Eisner gets paid 80. He earned it. Now, Chapek has destroyed Epcot. Epcot was going to be fresh and new. It's old and stale.
And
still.
you have to lay it at his feet because he was the one in charge.
He was in charge when all this, and they didn't even do maintenance during the pandemic. So Fantasmic,
right,
which is one of
right.
their best shows,
Yeah.
went to shit. They had to rebuild the whole show
Yeah.
because they didn't even do maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but anyways, let me
yeah.
finish this Iger point.
yeah.
Iger is a good businessman. He saved the Pixar deal, which Eisner didn't love. Eisner, and I think it's because they were both visionaries,
Mhm.
but Eisner and Steve Jobs were like this.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the Pixar deal done. And Iger came in and saved that deal. Imagine if Disney didn't have Pixar.
And then
those
you
movies I
can
just went
tally
through.
up all the other acquisitions that
Right,
he was
Lucas.
responsible for. Yeah, Lucasfilm,
Lucas.
the biggest one. You got
But
Marvel and the others.
he's not a visionary. It doesn't take vision to say, let's build a Star Wars lands, create it, guys. And they did a shitty job.
Yeah, I was going to respond to Paul's comment here, but Kev Gret beat me to it, which that's all you need to know about Lasseter and what happened with him. He's now with Skydance Productions producing shit for Apple TV. So if you want to find his work, that's where he's at, but he won't be coming around anytime soon.
Yeah. Well,
so, I don't know. I mean, it's when you get here, are we still gonna? Is that it? Are we still gonna find a way to go to the parks? I mean, there's
we're
still
going to Universal.
Yeah, we got 2 days now booked to go to Universal, right? And that experience is so much different. You go into that wizarding world of Harry Potter.
I haven't been to that yet,
and I will say, because I have since been there, and I wasn't a fan of the books or the movies, and I've since seen a handful of them, but that's how you do it, and Universal is just leading the way right now.
Who's been to every Disney park in the world?
Not me.
Me.
Yeah.
Except for Shanghai, which just opened.
Right.
well, maybe a year ago, but it was during the pandemic, so I'm
Yeah.
not flying to China and eating raw bats.
Well,
They fry them.
it's been refuted now, isn't
That
it?
is true. No, that's true. Hong Kong, if you go to open air market, man, oh man, get ready to lose your lunch.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
That was a box,
There's still
Paul.
a way for us to go.
If you pay.
Uh,
Actually, I was livid after the text, and of course, I had to let oh mother know.
which text?
When I was texting Disney when you
Oh,
were calling
yes.
him, I
Right.
was so mad. I went into her room and
Right.
I'm going at her. I'm not yelling at her, but I'm yelling about what's going on. And I'm like, it's a shit show, Ma. I can't believe how bad it is. Remember, I used to love it. I
She's
used to
like, I'm
go there.
87 years old. I had nothing to do with it,
Yeah,
for Christ's sake.
she's looking at me like, what are you, insane? When I worked for
An
Disney,
event.
the first thing when you get hired, they send you to what they call Disney University. I don't know if
Yes.
they do it
It's
anymore.
right down the street.
Okay. Well, it wasn't a separate building. It wasn't a big deal, but
Oh, it's huge.
you spend 2 weeks literally learning how many toilets there are
Mhm.
in Epcot. I
Right.
mean, they grill you on the names of the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah.
And then after that 2 weeks, you go into a training program. And me and my buddy had this 12-page speech we had to memorize.
Let's listen to the land we all
In the
love.
land.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, we had no voice. And none of us, because we went till midnight.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Then we would leave the park and we were like walking around Disney World with untethered. I can remember he had a girlfriend. She dunked her head in one of the ponds that floats
Mhm.
the water and stuff. I mean, we used to have fun. We worked in the land, and I can remember we snuck in and we stole a banana to see if they were really edible.
Yeah, it's just an entirely different experience. There's no magic there at all. I mean, the
Yeah,
last time I was there, I think I said to you as I was leaving, and I was there for as long as it takes to walk around the World Showcase at Epcot Center. That's how long I was there. I went
yeah,
in, and the other part of this too, because it's all a money grab, like everywhere
yeah,
you look. And you know this now too. They've created a season for everything. It's the festival of the this and the festival of the that and the parade of that. It like there's all of these, right? The food and wine, the arts festival, and all this shit, which is nothing but food vendors
yep.
and
And
people
it's
hawking their wares.
all the space is taken up by these booths,
Yeah,
so
it
it
becomes
takes you an
very now,
hour.
and it's already crowded enough. And that's the other thing too. The parks are so friggin' crowded now.
It's not a fun experience.
Forget about waiting in line. A line for a ride. It's just the crowds in general roaming through the place.
Yeah.
It's
And
insane.
like I said, like right now is a nice time to go because it's kind of cool, but when it's hot,
Wait, 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 wait,
you
wait. There's no Santa?
well,
All these years, I
you
thought
know.
you had my back.
I
The
remember
cat's out of the
I
bag. You didn't
remember
tell
me
me
and my
this.
older brother, we used to have Christmas in the front room, and then we
Yeah,
moved it to downstairs. And
right.
we had to wait for you and our sister to go to sleep because mom and dad were gone. They
Yeah,
weren't being parents
had the
anymore.
sheet hung up and all of
I was
that.
the parent,
Yeah.
and me and my older brother are putting all stuff up, and all of a sudden I see footsteps, and it's Dan, and I have to do a $1.50 and pick you up and
Yeah.
put you back in bed.
I remember finding that out. I can remember being in the kitchen and like the emotional letdown that it was, mom and
Uh,
dad and all that
th
shit.
th
All right. Yeah, I mean this could be just multiple. This could be a weekly segment talking about this with all the new, shit that's coming out and what's happening with this company. But it's real depressing. Now, I don't know. What do I do with this pass? Do I just not go out of protest? What am I supposed to do?
See,
I just renewed the son of a bitch in November.
I know. I would
And I was
probably
so close to saying, the hell with it. They
be
got me again.
because every time I visit, I wanna go and see what's new because
And that's out now. That's,
right.
again, you have to make a whole second
I
trip in the
should
fall
have
or something.
I should have checked with and you didn't think of this either. I was throwing dates
I
at you,
didn't. I
and
didn't.
I just said, "The first week of April."
Right. And that's the
Right?
way it should be. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to. Oh, let me
So
check the blackout dates calendar for this pass that I'm
correct.
paying, giving a kidney for
And when you
Christ's
were an
sake.
employee, your employee ID got you in 365. There were
Yeah,
no blockout dates for employees. Now employees can't even get in on their days off.
right.
There's blockout dates for them. So
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, if anybody is contemplating, putting their money towards one of these trips here, because again, for me,
it's a very
I
expensive
have the
trip.
luxury of like it's right there. I probably know somebody that knows somebody that can get me in. If push comes to shove, I can go.
Yeah.
But it's crazy as a pass holder. I've got no interest and I could almost walk to the parks. I'm
The
that close.
last time I was there, I was excited because they were going to redo Epcot.
Yeah,
There was a whole bunch of
right,
projects
right.
that were in the works. The
And about
pandemic
all you're
hit.
gonna get now is a bronze statue of this guy out back of
Yeah.
Epcot. That's about the only
And
thing you're
by the
gonna get.
way, Disney is not 100 years old. Walt would have turned 100. He was
Mhm.
0 when, he didn't create Mickey Mouse when he was 0. So stop saying it's
Oswald.
the 100th
Yeah.
100th anniversary. It isn't.
This is a good time to wrap it up because I hear
Yeah.
the fireworks going off actually right now at the
Yeah.
parks, which is I'm not kidding either. I can see that literally from my apartment. All right, well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother Podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we're going to fucking see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Wow.